Hey guys, it's Turek. Is this going over here? It is good. And did I get the title and stuff right? Today's One Piece chapter came out or this morning. Maybe it came out last night. I was trying to check. I gotta learn how to get notifications. I wonder if those other websites give you notifications. I was checking and then I just saw this morning Tekkings released his review, which I'll watch afterward. But I want to do it myself first because I always don't want to get my opinions skewed to hearing his version of what's going on. That way, I'm like basing it on my own biases and opinions, and so I can just figure out things myself. Ayo. So we last left off with chapter 1090, where the Straw Hats and the Vegapunks are trying to plan their way out. They have they are surrounded by the Keys battalion or something of 30 ships of is it no 100 ships with so making 30,000 uh um troops total. They're still within this force field area, but we'll find out that's not so helpful. And they are have Kisuru there, which probably they suspected, and unbeknownst to them, one of the uh what do they call it? the Saint Saturn's there. They just chatted at the end of that, and that's when they were chatting briefly with them all together, but they don't know he's there. And Saturn and Kizaru are making a plan now based on the situation to get inside there, and because of Kizaru's powers, he's able to get in there very fast, and it ended off with him starting to fight against Sentomaru, who's there leading the Pacifista specifically, because his authority is one of the highest on the hierarchy they created. Too bad they It's too bad. This hierarchy thing does have a lot of by the way, some downfalls here. As far as it works for the Sentomaru and Vegapunk. Actually, I wonder. I'm a little surprised Saturn. Oh, that's why, because no one he don't want anyone to know he's there. That's right. He said, "Don't let anyone know I'm here." I'll say Saturn's there. He can just take charge of them. We've all figured that out very quickly. But if he doesn't want to be there, so he doesn't want anyone to know he's there. So, anyways, let's get started. We start with Kizu charged in. So the other vice admirals are all ready to lead some of the ships. Um, and the Sentomaru ordered the pacifistas to start firing. And so the fighting begins here with the sea beasts charging the marine ships, and I think some of them even get taken out right away here. See how that goes. Yeah, one of them gets crushed right there by so that looks like a lion or something of that sort. It's crushing one through the hull, and the uh, the vice admirals start jumping in though and proving that they're worth their salt, and start fighting with the one of them with this big guy. He punches out one of them that looks like a hippo, and then that one with the punk one, she comes in and she's kicking one of the pacifistas. So the fighting there is beginning. Well, she actually does a good shot there on the gets a good shot in on that, kicks across that pacifista actually. So this is a real cool scene actually. I'm skimming past this, but I wanted to get a good job here when it's showing all this the waves moving and all this fighting going on, and the sea beasts are putting up a good fight, but I think the vice admirals are going to take them out rather quickly. I don't remember how many there are actually either. Uh, and then so we switch over to the labo phase area, and we have Usopp's monitoring the fight from a camera. Must be dead and mushy, right? Down there, and he's relaying the event to them. Uh, And so Vegapunk is like, well, it started. He's surprised it started already. Maybe he hoped they had a little more time because they're still trying to hack the shit that York caused, so that they can get out of there. So he's hoping here that as long as Sentomaru stays in charge of the pacifistas, they have a good chance of escaping quickly. Although I think he's, in some ways, I feel like he's underestimating the Kizaru admirals there. So we get a little recap here too of how the authority hierarchy goes, with the Elder Stars being the top, and then Vegapunk and the satellites having, and then Sentomaru, and anyone else with authority chip, which is what we saw with Lucci having, or and probably Stussy and Kaku each had their own, I think, to make sure. Uh, so actually, yeah, the other guy, they know here by now that Kizu has come in, and they're commenting on how that's why they can see that Kizu is going right for Sentomaru to take him out so that they can take down the pacifistas. So it's kind of unfortunate that the other one of the other satellites can't be down there too as a backup, because this is it's gonna flip quickly. But so then sorry, there's like a translation missing here. Something with this. So it's Nami, Usopp, and Brook watching this right now. Uh, and right, so they're there. Who left for the ships? Frankie, Luffy, Bonnie, somebody else. They're over at the ships. Uh, and so they're watching the fight here, and they comment on, oh shoot, it's that admiral we saw before, and Stussy was right. She warned an admiral would probably come. Makes sense. I don't know why, if they were to be surprised by that, because they're after Vegapunk. Of course they would understand he'd be there. Um, and Vegapunk's pointing out, thinking to himself, he's feeling bad that Sentomaru has to go through this for his sake, and but I think Sentomaru, as we see here, Sentomaru does not have any, um, thankfully, I would say too, any hesitation and such for fighting Kizaru, even though we know they have a history, and we'll get more into that here. Because he really looks up to Vegapunk as like a father figure. And so we switch over to the fight, and we see Kizaru kicking Sentomaru again. Doing his classic. What would that be? I can't think what kind of kick that would be. And Sentomaru is putting up his guard to protect himself with his arms up. He's protecting himself. But it looks like he's getting flung back each time. This is one thing I'm a little sad about with Sentomaru with this match. I think in 2 years ago when he was introduced, he easily overpowered Luffy to some extent, especially like when Luffy went at him head on, because this guy already knew how to use, like, I think did he even use an advanced haki as a defense? I know he's using haki in some form, and he in the time skip here, I don't think he's gotten a whole lot stronger, because he's getting knocked back very easily. And I was wondering, like, when he showed up again at Sabaody to try and catch the Straw Hats a few months back in the timeline of the show of the manga, I was wondering if he had gotten any stronger. And my assessment is he's not. He's still very impressive. Like, I wondered how someone like him would fare against like Doflamingo. Doflamingo's, like, I think at this point a good baseline to like think about how strong someone could be, because Luffy had a tough time fighting him even after the time skip. Now Luffy's a lot stronger. So I would use, if I was trying to measure someone's strength, I think I'd be using Doflamingo is a good way. So Kizu kicks Sentomaru back, and he's trying to convince Sentomaru to surrender. Then he throws in his attacks. He starts throwing in those laser bombardment attacks. What's that? Yasaki no Makatama. That's a neat name. Also, I'll get to that in a minute. No. I'm trying to get some random thoughts in. So he's doing that. Well, he's throwing those bombardment at Sentomaru. See, Sentomaru just runs away from those attacks to avoid them. Not cowardly anyway. In a way, I mean, he's still fighting. He's just making a good tactical retreat because he knows he can't take those attacks like the way Marco could. It's too bad Marco's not coming back right now. I was thinking about. I think I made a video about that when we found out Marco and um, yeah, when Marco and Buckingham were gonna come here to try and prove that Weevil is Whitebeard's son. I was hoping it'd be a rematch, and we still could if they came. If they start coming at any minute, Marco could probably fly in over the battleship siege to help. Sorry about that. So Sentomaru responds to Kizaru's demands about uh, surrendering and says, "No, I can't do that. I made a promise with Straw Hat." And also, he keeps using the word here. I'm assuming it's some kind of something like similar to like the word senpai. I'm not very familiar with a lot of these the Japanese phrases of sorts like this, but talking to each other, the respect, the hierarchy type sort of thing they have going on. But he uses something here that looks like that Ojiki. Is that how you say it? Anyways, it looks like he still respects Kizaru, but his priority here, as we see, Sentomaru is toward Vegapunk, and I have to give it to Sentomaru. I think he trusts. He's starting to see that Straw Hat isn't. He sees that. I think that Straw Hat is not the kind of a pirate he would have assumed before. That it's like a pirate in name only, and I don't think Kizaru gets that yet. I'm very disappointed. I'll start saying that. I'm a little disappointed with Kizaru of all the admirals, of the ones that we've had here for a while, because I think Akainu is starting to see that pirates are not always pirates the way they assume. As we saw, Smoker understands this greatly now. I think. I think he has no doubt in his mind after what happened at Punk Hazard, and if he's watching what's happened at Dressrosa, he was starting with Alabasta, that he is probably. I don't think he'll pursue Luffy with the same determination as he used to, because he knows what's going on. He's seen the corruption, and Aokiji understands that too, and that's why he left. And I think, Akainu was really understanding this after Dressrosa. I was impressed by that. I didn't think Akainu, when we saw Akainu with at Marineford, he really, was standing out like the worst of the admirals. And we just met Kizaru shortly. But Kizaru really does just follow orders to a T. And I'm just wondering if the shoe will drop. How do you say that? The other shoe will drop eventually. He'll turn his back on the Marines as well, because he with having to listen to go Celestial Dragon like Saturn all the time like this. So Sentomaru then goes here and grabs his double-bladed axe and gets ready to come at Kizaru. Meanwhile, Kizaru is asking him, like, why are you allying with a pirate now? In which Kizaru explains his reasoning. Sentomaru explains the reasoning because of protecting Vegapunk is his priority. He joined the Marines recently during his time skip, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care that much if it means sacrificing his loyalty to Vegapunk. So he takes a swing here at Kizaru, and it's actually a great swing. It looked like he forgot to use Haki, though. Well, maybe Kizaru just separated himself, because it looks like initially he cut through Sentomaru. Sentomaru cut through Kizaru. Although maybe he's just separating. I think, unfortunately, as I said, Sentomaru's training earlier, I think he's unfortunately not fast enough to fight Kizaru. He's got great defense, but he can't match the speed here. So he's missed Mrs. Kizaru, cutting Kizaru in half here. Probably, yeah, it has to be probably the same thing like that. We saw Whitebeard. He tried to take out Aokiji, and he just used his ice body to just allow Whitebeard's Bicento to just go through. And so now we switch to a flashback. We meet we see Sentomaru when he's a kid. And he looks the same. He just got a cute version of himself. That sumo body, same outfit. Um, so what happened here? It looks like was that uh, Kizaru and Vegapunk were coming to an island, and there's someone. Maybe the islanders wanted Kizaru to help get rid of this bear problem. The problem with these bears probably harming the locals or taking out their livestock. I'm assuming. And but they get there and see Sentomaru has already as a little kid is he taking care of the problem. He's standing on top of three these bears and they're all bruised up. They even show little band-aids on them and stuff, and there's some behind them with bumps on their head. And so we get there, we get here, we get to the next panel where Vegapunk and Kizaru are meeting Sentomaru as a kid. So based on this age, I looked up Sentomaru's age. I think he's 34 now. Uh, this is got to be like 20 years, over 20 years ago, because he looks like he's not even 10 yet. Wait a minute, where is that? This one, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, Sentomaru, come on. He's really tall too. Damn, March. Yeah, 34. Yeah, so this is like probably over 25 years ago. Uh, and we see Kizaru. He's wearing the same like that way he always wears the striped pants. He's wearing the striped pants, but in this scene he's got a tank top on and his uh, officer jacket over that. We can tell Vegapunk's a lot younger because he got his hair's not gray yet, and he's still wearing his still got his brain attached. And so he's explaining. Sentomaru's explaining to the other two like I was the I would wanted to help the villagers. And they're too weak to handle this. But I'm also so for some reason he's hated by the people, so he's driven out. Excuse me. Damn, I have to edit all that out. Uh, so it's kind of reminds me of Kaido because Kaido, uh, he has a little bit of a similar background where he's so tough that or something else that he's afraid, but the villagers are afraid of him. And wait, I gotta look up something quickly too. You just mentioned something here I should have. Come on, day right. Uh, what is that? Oh, okay, it's a food. So then Sentomaru says, what's this? Wait a minute, Sentomaru, come on, God dang it. There we go. I'll just put this over here. That's the problem. I got 90th third window, fourth window. That actually looks really good. Rice cake or something. And then so Sentomaru goes out to these guys, the other two, and it's like, I'm very strong. Please, like, I want to work so I can get money. Where he's trying to, I think, say, hey, can you take me with you? I want to prove myself. I want to, he's got an ambition and well, not so much ambition. He's got drive enough where he wants to, wants to show his worth. It's very, very nice to see this from him. Um, and Vagabond's, oh, you want to work? What does he want to buy with the money? And we get a cute picture here where Sentomaru's like, hey, all he wants is onigiri, which is like those rice cakes, I guess. I'm looking at them here at the in my the window, and he seemed like drooling. And he claimed before, like, I don't ever get hungry. I'm so tough. Clearly, he must be a bit hungry now because he's probably living out in the wild and having a bit of tough time. And uh, it looks like both Kizaru and Vagabond kind of laugh at that, and not in a condescending way, like, oh, okay, he eats cute little carrots, wants to work hard and eat. And we switch briefly back to Kizaru saying how very cute you were back then to Sentomaru. So clearly Kizaru, how do I put this? He doesn't hate Sentomaru or anything now that he's turned to fight Vegapunk, but as usual, he's always following his job. Um, then we go back to the flashback, and so Vegapunk says, "Okay, how about I'll take you out, and you can be my bodyguard. How about that?" And Sentomaru's like, "Oh, if it means I'm getting a job, okay, that's great." Well, then we get a separate flashback later on, and Sentomaru um, wants to have Kizaru train him as a as to fight. How can you teach me? Can you be my mentor? So that's funny. So he mentored him. I wonder if Aokiji and Kainu ever had anybody that wanted to train under them. We saw how Kobe and Hamepo are, and some of the others were personally trained by Vice Admiral Garp and Bogard. Um, but I don't know about the admirals. It seems that I wonder if other officers like this have had a lot of this, where they're vice admirals or rear admirals, where they take on students personally to help train them, beyond, above and beyond some kind of basic training. Uh, so finishing that flashback there, um, kind of Kizaru's like, why do you call? Also, he calls him this the Ojiki again, and Kizaru seems to take a slight offense at that. Like, why are you calling me that? I'm still quite young. So it must be kind of like that thing where this must be where another example. I see this with the other anime where um, there'll be a kid, there'll be like 5 to 10 years old, and they call someone who's like sometimes just a teenager, so barely 10 years older than them, an old man. I think that happened in Bleach one time, and I know some others where they're always anyone who's just that young, and they're calling them something to the effect of an old man. Anyway, yeah. So we go back. That's the finish. We end that flashback, and Kizaru's like, "I taught you everything I can, Sentomaru." So I think he's basically saying too, I'm sorry things had to turn out this way. And then when he does that, actually Sentomaru actually gets a decent hit in on him here. He gets palm like a palm attack into Kizaru's face. Um, so Kizaru's like, I'm sorry that continues. I'm sorry that it has to be this way, but I can't let my defense be beaten either. And he launches an intense laser blast and takes out Sentomaru and with it, unfortunately. Oh man, and Sentomaru put up such a good fight. I have a feeling though that he's probably still pretty injured because Rob Lucci got the drop on him too last time, and now he's gonna face him. It's not a good time for him to fight. So now fucking Kizaru starts uses the authority chip now to force the Mach 3s to listen to him. So these authority chips, by the way, don't affect these sea beasts. They are solely under the control of Vegapunk and his satellites, I guess, and probably meant to be like personal bodyguards for the personal defense to the island. Because then he takes control of the Mark 3s and it's like, I want you to take out the work with the Marines and take out the sea beasts now, which they immediately start doing. And now, unfortunately, we see like that start happening as a Mark III on the shore shoots one of the sea beasts in the back that was right in front of it. Uh, shoot. So then we switch up briefly to Saturn, saying it's such a waste, but I'll pick the pacifistas. I think he's referring to the Damn it. He goes on to point out like I think he's saying like it's a waste so bad that sad that we have to destroy these sea beasts because they seem like could be valuable assets to us, but I want the pacifistas are more important. Um, and he asked someone nearby to keep him updated on what losses they've had since the Mark threes when the Mark threes were against them. But now we switch back to Usopp again at top, and he reports how Sentomaru's out, and Vegapunk starts crying. Vegapunk with this report, him and the other two satellites there, who's the Atlas and which one passed away? Pythagoras, right? I think that's Edison. Him and Edison and Atlas are redoubling their efforts to try and get the shield down. And that pissant York is like, you can't hack it. She's gloating again, basically. And so it's fucking So now Vegapunk points out we have to hurry because with Kizaru being made alike, the defense system won't stop him from getting in. Actually, this brings up something great too. I was looking back because people are theorizing that the Blackbeard pirates might be there. And no, they must be there or must have did something because they showed up. I think it was 1079. I forgot the chapter now, but I think that was it. They showed up there, so people are suspecting that they're that Catalina Devon may be disguised as someone. Bonnie was one that. Bonnie was one that was speculated to be the replaced, and like maybe she's knocked out or something. And the one problem I had with that, when I look back at that chapter, is that when it shows Blackbeard's ship there, the Lavos phase is still up full defense. So if Devon is there and stay there, I highly doubt she can be up in the Labo phase right now. There's no one else probably getting in there, with the exception that we know so far of Kizaru. And Vegapunk says we have to hurry up. He could pass through the defenses anytime now. So how Devon could do that, beyond me at this point. She's got Mythical Zone. She's very powerful, but I don't see how she can do that. I don't know what kind of trick that her Mythical Zone could help. I don't even think Kaido could get through this thing without suffering a lot of damage. And they would know if someone else was getting in there. As soon as Kaku tried, he got shot down. I think they just I don't think Devon is there. If Devon's there, I think she's still on the bottom there somewhere. And could be waiting for all this chaos to do something. Maybe she'll wait once if this defense gets knocked out, taken down, because that's what Vegapunk and the others are trying to do. They're trying to get it down so they can escape. That could be where Devon or Lafitte is speculated to be there. That could be where they could take advantage of the situation, but they must not. They must be down there waiting. They can't be up there yet. I'm sure of it. So so Kizaru, he's looking up the Labo face now after he right next to where he defeated Sentomaru. Usopp reports that Sentomaru's down and out. And then it's freaking out that Kizaru is going to come up there. And, because he's worried about what after that he remembers that they fought Kizaru last time and how badly he defeated them. And Kizaru was remembering that too. And so he starts zooming up there, and he just zooms up vertically, and we just see now that I look at that. And so we switch over to the Vega Force and the Sunny and the people there, and that's like Lilith, Frankie, Bonnie, and Luffy, and they're enacting their part of the plan. So while Vegapunk and his satellites and the other Straw Hats are waiting at the top of the lab to get and trying to get down the while Vegapunk and everyone's waiting there, Luffy, Bonnie, Frankie, and Lilith are heading to the back of the island. The plan there is the Vega Force is going to fly out over the siege, and then the Sunny can get the rest of the way once the Vega Force turns off, because it's being powered somehow by something on the island and will just shut off. It's not self-sufficient in its flight abilities or operating at all, apparently. And we switch briefly to we see Luffy and Bonnie and Frankie, and Bonnie and Luffy are still fueling up, eating there. And while that happens, Lilith starts getting in, a warning from the Vega Force, showing that Kizu's just passed through. And she comments like, "Oh, no one should be able to get through here." Apparently, she's not thinking about Kizu's powers the way Vegapunk himself is. So So if Kizaru comes up, we see him phase up through the lava phase, right? Distance away from the lab. He's facing the front of it, and he reiterates to himself the stuff that Saturn's ordered him to not damage the power plant, the punk records, and York, but that at all costs he's gonna eliminate Dr. Vegapunk. And what? Okay, wait. So then Vega, we see the others inside the lab learn that the Kizaru is in there, so Usopp's worried about Luffy and the others, and he warns them that Kizaru's there, and says, "Hurry up, you guys gotta get away from there. You'll be in trouble." And then Vegapunk's still commenting on that possible moment, because I'm trying to figure out how. He says the ship's transport is complete. I won't. Oh, that's what he's saying. Oh, it's the way he says that. I guess he figured out something about how to disable the barrier. And he says once they get over there, then he'll disable the barrier. So now, of course, friggin' Lucci takes this opportunity to try and come in and help to take over. But fortunately, Stussy sees what's going on, and she takes the finger. What's that attack they use? The finger pistol. She takes that attack from Lucci, saving Dr. Vegapunk, and falls down there. Oh yeah, because obviously she knew earlier she couldn't fight him head on, and that's why she took him out quickly. And so friggin' Lucci does it very coldly, of course. Fucking bastard. He takes her out there. She falls down, and then the others are panicking right away. But luckily, Sanji takes action, and he grabs that bubble gun from Nami, the little one she had, the little pistol she had, she was holding over York. And he quickly uses his first on Kaku to make sure he can't get up and help. Even though he didn't know this was going to happen, Lucci was planning on this himself. And now it's obvious he's waiting. Now he waited till now when Kizaru came inside to take the initiative. And Kaku wakes up. I don't know if he was sleeping or resting still, but he sleeping. I mean, like he sees what happened to himself. He's like, "What's going on?" And Sanji just says like, "Oh, you've been cast aside." No, he's just starting without him. Sorry. But fortunately, and this is something I've been wondering about and hoping to see for a long time, Zoro gets up, comes over, and him and Lucci start fighting. He's pulled out two of his swords. Which one did he got? There, I think he's got Enma and Hitetsu the Third out. I'm trying to look at the guards. It's hard to see from the angle that Oda's drawn them there. He's using two of his swords, hockeyed up, and he's Lucci and him are clash. Lucci's using his one leg. He's got his shin out forward, blocking Zoro's attack. And Zoro points out, yeah, now that Kizaru's here, you're feeling better. And Lucci confidently says, with Kizaru here, the two of us should be able to annihilate all of you. And Zoro forces him out the lab, actually, and points out, no, you're underestimating us. Don't think you'll take us out that quickly. So this is something great I wanted to stop today and talk about. when Oda has these fights lined up at with every major conflict they've had, Alabasta, Dressrosa, Thriller Bark, etc., he lines up the captain of whatever or enemy leader that is going to fight Luffy, and then he'll have multiple other people, and he always has someone that's going to fight Zoro and fight Sanji. And I've always thought it would be cool to see more often a clash with Zoro or Sanji usually fighting someone else than the one that Oda set up. So we've had a little bit of this from time to time. I think the only one I can think of off the top of my head is Sanji fighting Doflamingo briefly when he was Doflamingo was going after the Sunny when Law made it back to the ship. I think it was after he was chased. Law was being chased by Doflamingo on Green. Was it the Green Bit area? And he finally made it back to the Sunny after their deal fell through. And Doflamingo goes after it, and Sanji intercepts him because he knows how to use that flight move. that similar flight move that the CP9 and others can use. And yeah, I always was wondering like if Zoro and Lucci especially fought, how would that turn out? And the only thing I had to say back then in the time before the time skip, so sorry, is that the only thing I think Lucci would have over Zoro back then is speed. Luffy had gained gear second and seemed all around faster, but Zoro proved himself with his strength, especially when he pulled out those special attacks, that his strength is not something to be taken lightly. So just thinking about speed would be the only thing I could see Lucci having an advantage over Zoro back then. So it'll be interesting here if he transforms again and how him and Zoro will scale up to each other. I personally think that Zoro now, with his swords and his training and strength, could defeat over in the power scale, defeat Lucci. It's just, I think it's still a matter of speed at this point. What Zoro could do against Lucci, and how Lucci might have an advantage. And then a part of other matchups from the past, I would have liked to see how Zoro and Crocodile, for example, could have fought, because Crocodile wielded a weapon on his arm, and if Zoro wielded swords, and if Zoro knew Haki, how they would have stacked up as power scaling kind of again with speed and stuff. And what are some other ones I've wanted to see in the past? What would be other good fights? Zoro kind of fought Buggy back then, but he didn't have Haki, so he couldn't defeat Buggy any more than he'd be able to defeat Crocodile. I think he kind of fought Arlong, but he was so weak because he was hurt by Mihawk that he couldn't beat him. I remember Arlong caught him, but Zoro was able to take out the other fishmen there. Then let's see. Zoro didn't take part in any big fights at Drum Island, did he? At Brogueworks, at Whiskey Peak, he had a great fight, but that was different. Let's see. What did he fight? So he fought that Pika in Dressrosa. It would have been cool to see Luffy fight that, actually. I wonder how Luffy could have won. He could have used Gear 3rd and destroy the construct that Pika made, but he had to get as we saw, Zoro had to get Pika's main body. It was like small compared to the construct to getting it to actually win. And I'm not sure how Luffy could have done that unless he like used Gear 2nd and catches Pika as he's like trying to flow from one rock to the other. So anyways, yeah, and then Luffy never had to go up against King. He was there with Queen, but I don't think they actually fought. So yeah, anyways, these are some matches I would love to see with like other second in commands against Luffy, and the first one's fighting Zoro and stuff like that. Now we're getting that here with Lucci. I'm glad they're keeping their guard up a little bit here, although it took Stussy to realize it fully. I'm actually a little surprised too, and thinking about it, looking back now, that they let him just stand there they probably should have put this bubble them up just in case, like they did with the other pacifistas. Actually, I just thought of something too. The other thing too is that they may have to. I wonder if they'll have to take the other. They left them in the basement though. Shoot, they should really have taken. I think the other four, um, uh, the seraphims with them. They should have put them on the ship because now they could actually use them. Lilith is there, and she could order them to protect them too. I just realizing they're kind of at a disadvantage here if the other, like if reinforcements can follow Kizaru up there. That is, at this point I don't know, because we'll see here. So Zoro is fighting Lucci. Kaku just got this. Sanji was smart enough to quickly incapacitate not permanently Kaku. So now it's just Lucci and Kizaru. And Sanji's still there. Maybe he'll get behind Lucci, try and get behind Lucci here and bubble him. But I don't think he should probably just stay there. Lucci and Zoro just crash out the window. Sanji should stay there and guard the others. There's not enough people. Who's left there? Robin's there, but she's hurt. You got Usopp and Nami. I mean, they can fight, obviously, but I'm trying to think about against foes like Lucci. Sanji should stay there. This is something I was kind of worried about happening once I saw he was reporting. I'm glad Zoro and Sanji stayed here while Luffy only left to go to the Sunny. So anyways, we switch to the final part of the chapter, and Kizaru's found the Vega Force. They're running still toward the edge of the island, the back of the island. And first he's like Kizaru comments like, "Oh, there's the Sunny, the Straw Hat ship. I was wondering why we hadn't seen it on the coast. Thank goodness. I mean, I don't think they could have destroyed it. Well, I wonder if Kizaru's light energy would work on the Sunny. It's supposed to be made of that wood that's indestructible, or nearly so, right? So I don't think a bombardment from the the battleships would have worked. But I wonder if Kizaru could harm it. So the others see that Kizaru's caught up to them, and one of them comments, it was probably Frankie, I'm guessing. And he sees Kizaru and says, "Oh, the admiral's caught up. What should we do, Luffy?" But Luffy already knew he was coming. Anyways, remember he sensed when Kizaru came onto the mainland and was fighting Sentomaru. So Luffy here, in an epic moment, he comes out. We don't see his face at first. He see his feet. I thought it was gonna be someone else. It kind of tricked me at first. I thought maybe we were gonna see someone, Bonnie or someone, stand up and face him. Like maybe it was Katarina Dave on it initially before I was realizing what I said earlier. So Kizaru was like, who's this? And Luffy comes out and says, it's been a while. And he comes in and kicks Kizaru right in the Kizaru blocks. He does the block move, kind of like Sentomaru just did. And I love this because he comes in with a hockey kick, because you could tell because there's those lightning and everything blowing off his foot. He comes in and gives Kizaru a solid kick right in the there, and Kizaru's like, "Oh, that's very rude of you." And Luffy just answers by basically saying, "Well, we're 100 times stronger now than we were before. Don't underestimate us." And he's got this big, determined grin on his face. It's awesome. And that's the end of the chapter. So this is a great callback, and some other people are pointing out, especially when Luffy says we're 100 times stronger than we were before, which is that's how Shaki told the Straw Hat that Rayleigh was 100 times stronger than them. Now, I don't think Luffy is on Rayleigh's level just yet. I'm sure with the training he had on Wano, he is close. But I say that just because the last time when he showed Rayleigh how his Gear 4th, after he had developed it, and he wanted to see what Rayleigh, his assessment, Rayleigh still trounced him in that form. Now he had Snake Man he would develop after that to get faster and learn to fight someone with the observation hockey like that he learned, especially in through trials. The trial fighting um, um, what's his name? Big Mom's son. I can't think of his name right now. But and now he's been, and when he lost to Kaido, he started training. He started just lifting all those blocks in that big um, what would you call that place? The Udon prison. It was like had a big what would you call it? Where they were moving what's the word when you're moving all that stones and stuff? Oh, I can't think of the word for that. Anyways, he got a lot stronger there, and when he started fighting Kaido, we saw that he was, even without using Gear Second all the time, he was doing much better speed wise, and his observation hockey through fighting what's Big Mom's name? I can't think of his name. Charlotte Katakuri. God damn, I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, fighting Katakuri and Rayleigh and learning how to use observation hockey himself, he's able to block attacks better, and he got a lot stronger. So I think with Gear Fifth, Luffy may have a chance against Kizaru. It's very hard to say. With this, if we get a little more fighting out of this, this may actually help us power scale Luffy to a degree. And I say that loosely, like I don't. Power scaling is a very tenuous, not tenuous, like you gotta really. It's a landmine field to get through that, and people will argue over this stuff all day. I see it in the One Piece Discord. People really get really heated over that, and I think it's kind of silly. That's kind of like I don't like a side tangent. I don't like watching those things like there's that YouTube channel called Deathmatch, and they do fights among characters from other franchises, other mediums, uh, superhero stuff a lot of times. I think they had one like Popeye and Saitama. I don't care that stuff too much because of the kind of fighting it can sometimes breed out of that. I guess I could try watching it for good fun, but it's just hard for me to watch that kind of stuff because how people fight over that. I think it's the kind of fighting that's very pointless. But I would hope that we can get a little more of that with when it's in universe power scaling, like now Luffy versus Kizaru. I like those kind of discussions, and I'll have my own opinions, but I won't get heated over it the way other people would. I'll just say this is my opinion. That's how I'm gonna think of it. We'll learn more later. So I would like to see a little more here of Luffy and Kizaru, so that we can figure out where Luffy kind of stands in the last 2.5 years or so from the time he couldn't do anything against Kizaru. Also, what I was gonna say too is this kick is such a great throwback because that's how when Rayleigh came in and saved the Straw Hat, he used the kick to deflect Kizaru's laser attack that was about to take out Zoro. And now Luffy, because Luffy usually comes in and punches people. That's what I like too about the scene here. It's not often you see him coming in and kicking first. This is like something Sanji usually does. So it's really cool to see Luffy do that. Um, yeah, and you definitely, I was going to say, is he even using hockey? But he made contact with Kizaru, so he must be. It's hard to tell because he's got those black space boots on, I'm going to call them that, of Vegapunks, but he's got the lightning around him. So he's definitely using like his hockey with probably like his Conquerors, I'm thinking. I think that's usually what Conquerors is involved too, right? Look. So that's a great, great panel. Um, so I'm actually feeling still pretty safe that the Straw Hats could get out of here. I'm glad Sanji again took initiative to with stopping Kaku just in case. I think Zoro and Lucci's fight is going to also be awesome. These two clashes we just got. I really hope that Oda expands on them just a little bit. I think he mostly will with Kizaru and Luffy more than perhaps Lucci and Zoro. Um, I gotta look at those swords are. I gotta check the guards afterward too. I want to know which ones he's using specifically. Is that Enma? I think the top one he's got in his left hand is Enma, and that's Kitetsu. No, what does Wado Ichimoni's guard look like? I'll check that in a moment. I'm done here. But I'm gonna end this here. And I want to come back on some other time, maybe later, to there's one more trailer for One Piece just came out, but I'm going to take a break right now because my throat's still acting up before I go back to that. So then I'll get this uploaded. So yeah, this was a great chapter. This is kind of some of the stuff I expected. I hope Stussy's all right too. She took that attack right in her gut from Lucci. So let's see what else. Yeah. This is also, by the way, this chapter was called Sentomaru. I forgot to mention that. And the last one I called something else, and it was just actually just Kizaru, I think it was just called. I don't think there was any. Oh, there's just like some double page spread in this one with the Straw Hats eating pizza. Oh, look at that, that's cute. I didn't even look at this. So the Straw Hats are on a beach in this one. It looks like Jinbei's helping Sanji cook. Uh, Brooke and Chopper are in the back eating. Now Brooke's drinking coffee or something, and the Chopper's eating pizza by himself, and then the others are all together eating a big pizza. Them together. You got Luffy, Usopp close up, Sanji. I mean, Zoro and Nami there. I don't see Robin in this one actually. Yeah, this panel doesn't have Robin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's no Robin or Frankie in this panel actually. It's everyone else. And it looks like and also they have it set up to look like an Italian restaurant. I think that might be even an Italian flag on the back of Sanji's shirt. Because this looks like it's colored in. I don't know if Oda did this himself or this is a fan coloring, but it looks really good. They got wine and stuff nearby. Anyways, yeah, great chapter. And I think it was another 2 week break, but that's fine. I got a lot to catch up on still. I'm trying to follow up some other One Piece material for the another video I gotta make, and I want to make, and there's more promotional stuff for the live action, which I think comes out tomorrow. So that's exciting. So thanks for watching.